Hello, Nadia.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm in a particularly chipper mood, but I think it's because it's the weekend and it's the morning and it's sunny. Is it sunny where you are?
No,
Oh,
it's not. But it's getting warmer-ish. Not really, but it's not sunny here.
okay. So yesterday, maybe I'm in a good mood too because I got a haircut finally after long wait. I have to color my grays. Speaking of grays, that's actually what I wanted to talk about today. I got my haircut and I was talking to my hairstylist and I said to her, because we talk about TV shows. Do you watch medical, like hospital dramas? And
Mhm.
she was like, you know what? It's so weird you asked me that because just last night I was talking to my husband and telling him I never thought I was going to be the type of person that likes hospital dramas, but I now am. And I don't know what she didn't like about it before, but she's been watching The Pit. She didn't like Grey's Anatomy. She said she liked New Amsterdam. And she just recently finished watching the first season of The Pit, and she really liked it. And I watched the first season of The Pit in 3 days. Have you seen any of these shows?
I okay. After you mentioned Pit to me, so I watched a little bit of the first episode with my roommate yesterday, and this is coming from I'm currently rewatching Grey's. I've watched Grey's Anatomy maybe 3 times, not all the way through, but the majority of the old seasons, so I'm biased to Grey's. I do really like it. But I got a good impression from the first episode, but it's a little bit more intense. It's less drama. It's like there's no background music. It just feels like you're watching real life, which is like a little bit scary. And also, I don't know, it just feels quiet, like, it's just like you're watching something happen in real life, which I think would be interesting, but obviously I only made it to, like, the middle of the first episode, but yeah, I do really like doctor shows, however, I'm very biased to Grey's, and I've watched maybe half a season of The Resident, which is a little bit more like Grey's Anatomy, which is why I feel like I didn't watch the whole thing. 'Cause I like Grey's Anatomy better.
That's totally what Eric said. He's watching The Pit with me,
Mhm.
and he saw it, and I don't think I can watch this. It's too he didn't say the words gory, but it's like I'm watching a documentary. It's not a
Yeah,
documentary, but it feels really real, and
yeah.
there's a lot of gore. You see everything. Body parts,
Yeah,
like
what
all
did
kinds of body
you
parts. You haven't
see?
gotten there yet, but there's breasts,
Don't spoil it.
I'm just talking about body parts.
I feel like they do that in Grey's Anatomy too,
But
but
we I
it's
saw
kind
a
of
baby
excessive.
but I saw a
No,
baby's
it's
head coming out of a
so
vagina.
can you not spoil it? I
Okay,
told you I
but
only watched the first episode. Don't
I know, but
spoil
that's
it.
not a drama spoiler, that's just okay,
It
fine.
is a spoiler. Don't say
Okay,
it
fine.
anymore. But I feel like I've had a conversation about this with my dad, and he doesn't like shows like, because when I watch Gilmore Girls, he doesn't like that because it's too real life. There's no background music. It's literally, I love Gilmore Girls, but it's like you're watching someone's life happen in front of you and not like a show because, like, that's the way that they just formatted it. And that's how I feel about The Pit so far. But
But did
I
it make
mean,
you not
like,
wanna become a doctor?
no, here's the thing is you said this to me before The Resident too. And like I feel like I'd be stupid to watch one of these shows and be like, okay, I can't become a doctor because of it. I feel like it just obviously it's a little bit like more stressful because I know that's something that I'll have to do in the future, but it doesn't really deter me from that. So I take it as like a challenge. Like it doesn't make me want to watch it and be like, okay, yeah, I don't want to do this. It makes me want like I watch it and then it makes me want to know how to do that.
That's
Like from
awesome.
both of these shows and
Okay,
The Resident and The Pit. You didn't say that to me before Grey's Anatomy, but
okay,
I mean a
so
little bit less.
I distinctly remember when you were in high school, you probably remember this too, because it's not that long ago, but it makes me laugh so much. We put you in a group of college kids applying to college, right? And it
Mhm.
happened to be a group of kids that are pretty like motivated and
Yeah.
like this program was meant to be for kids that are trying to get into schools that are really challenging to get into. And so we put you in this group, and the first part of it was you were with a cohort and you get
Mhm.
partnered with people who have similar interests as you. And you were like so like upset because you came home and you got partnered with this other kid who wanted to go to medical school. And his inspiration was that he spent his whole life dealing with an autoimmune disease and
Mhm.
he wanted to make that experience better. And your reason for wanting to go to medical school was basically watching Grey's Anatomy.
And what can I say? It was the truth. But also, this was, like, over Zoom. This wasn't in person, so it's, like, on the phone. I was on a Zoom call with this guy, and I was like, "Oh, no, he's very judging me right now," but couldn't see because our cameras weren't on. And I don't know, that's something that I have to think about, 'cause it's true, like, I don't have a specific moment where I was like, "I wanna be doctor because of this." It's just been in the back of my head since as long as I can remember, and then Grey's Anatomy pushed it. And then I feel like it dimmered down a little bit after that point in, like, the beginning parts of college. Like, I still wanted to, but it wasn't just because of Grey's Anatomy, like, trying to find, like, other reasons and other motivation because you can't really get into med school just because you want to. You have to work for it. I don't know. And then after my co-op, and then I see things in, like, real life that I think that's when it switched. And granted, that's not even like a hospital, that's like a small little outpatient clinic, but I don't know, it's made things more real. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's possible that over time, like, I think it's like pretty good to go with a hunch and a gut feeling that you think you're going to something. Why not go in that direction? And you might not have an answer for that's appropriate to tell somebody at a medical school, like, why do you want to go
Mhm.
become a physician? And you're like, because I watch Grey's Anatomy. Obviously, that's not the
Right.
answer, even if that actually is the answer in the beginning. But over time, I think as you expose yourself more, you'll get more and more reasons, more of your why. Your why right now is okay, that TV show showed me the environment and I'm interested in it. And then you worked at a co op and you're like, okay, I see the way people are interacting and I like the role that this person takes. And then little by little, you'll add more. Like, I was just thinking, what's an example in my life like that? And one of them is like, Redwood Shores.
Mhm.
We moved to Redwood Shores, to live in Redwood Shores, and why did I like it? There was a house here that was a decent size and we could afford it. There's not like this is the perfect
Mhm.
neighborhood for me. And then there's a good view because we're by the water. Those are all pretty good, but it's not like every reason why you'd pick a place. But
Mhm.
now that we've lived here for 20 plus years, I'm like, oh, I can tell you all the reasons why it's good to live in Redwood Shores. I really like to live here. I really like living here.
Yeah.
Maybe over time,
Yeah.
you'll get some
I
reasons.
I think that's true, and then also, I had other instances like, I had other opportunities after that point that that was like, "Oh, you" like, I did, like, that research paper when I was a senior, and I or junior, and I feel like that moment, like, it got making things that are, like, I'm just researching more tangible, or I know I can make a difference in, like, in my future career. For context, my research paper was on racial disparities in healthcare, which I look at it and I'm like, that is the broadest topic I could have probably ever chosen. But now I'm a public health major, and then I worked in the clinic is like centered around one community and working with underserved populations. So everything just is lining up in a way to give me more of a reason than just Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, I'm still trying to find that, which is like another reason why we've been having a lot of discussions about like my gap year, like me taking a gap year and all of that. And I've been thinking about when I should take my MCAT. And I feel because I've been a little bit all over the place and wasn't really the type of person that knew exactly why I wanted to apply to med school and like really set forth on doing all those extracurriculars like way ahead of time. I feel like I need a gap year to really set in stone what I want to accomplish and make my med school application look really good. But yeah, I feel like things are coming into place for me, all starting from my like of Grey's Anatomy, but like a little bit slower, at a slower pace. Or it's happening and I realize it a little bit too late. But I don't know. It's
Not too
nice to feel
late.
it. But yeah, it's not too late, but just like later than it could have. Realizing it later than I should have. But it is nice to watch Grey's Anatomy like right now with this new mindset because the last time I watched it was in high school, like maybe junior year, like when that whole situation happened. And it's like cool to see it, like to watch it with a different perspective. But yeah. How?
I know I said this a lot of times. I don't know if I've said it in the podcast, but I don't think it's too late. I think it's really great when somebody takes a break between college and the next part of their career, if they're gonna go back to school rather. And I did that, and I really do not regret it. And even though it took me so much longer to become a physical therapist than the quickest route you could take, I'm so glad that I took the route that I did because I like the stuff that I picked up along the way. I literally didn't know that I was gonna become a physical therapist in college at all. It wasn't
Mhm.
even an inkling in my mind. So the fact that you were thinking about already in high school and now you're taking slow and steady steps in that direction, I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Or not even
Yeah.
perfect. It's fine. Like
Yeah.
what everybody's journey is different, but I think it's like great. And I do think that there's something that someone might miss if they go from childhood, like fast pace, like not
Mhm.
fast pace, child in elementary school, you know that you want to do well just to please your parents and whatever. In high school,
Right.
you know you need to do well to get into college. And then you like know what the next step, it's like college. And then
Right.
in college, you could think, okay, I need to do well to go to med school. I'm just
Mhm.
going to go straight there. And then you don't get like all you have is this like straightforward path. I think I think people benefit from having a little
Yeah.
deviation into
Yeah.
someplace else.
I agree.
Yeah.
So like, I'm pretty set on my decision to take a gap year. Even before, like, I really knew I wanted to go to med school. Like, I always knew I wanted to take a gap year. But also, as you were talking, also feel like coming to college and being around more people that want to apply to med school has definitely helped shift my perspective and stuff. Just because I don't know. It's like it's a competitive environment. Obviously, college always is, but also helps motivate me to do the same things that not the same things, but like gives me an idea of what I should be doing. Whereas in high school, I actually didn't really have that many friends that wanted to be a doctor. Granted, it's high school, you don't always talk about that kind of stuff, but I feel like my friends from home we all want to do pretty different things. So there was never like, oh, I'm going to do this, so maybe I should do that too because like that type of thing, which I definitely have the opportunity of having in college, but in high school, my main motivator was a TV show. So,
Yeah, so during that gap year, like you said, you can put yourself into real life situations that'll give you a deeper why. But
yeah.
I think it's totally legit for the first why to be like, I was inspired by watching this drama that's like maybe 40%
Yes.
real.
And I've had a hard time, like, I'm working per diem at my old co-op right now while taking classes, and I've had a hard time. It's hard to be so, like, not focused on one thing at a time. And because I like, obviously, my main goal right now is to graduate college, so it's hard to want to work and do all those things and graduate and work on graduating as well, and so I feel like with a gap year, I'd be able to focus on one, I guess 1 or 2, but, like, I focus on one thing at a time instead of having a big weight of, like, school, but then also wanting to explore other things and not
Yeah, so
really
you
being able to fully commit to those, like, jobs.
okay, so you asked me to connect you with people I know that have become physicians, medical doctors who took a gap year. What inspired you to ask me for that connection?
You've offered that before, I just hadn't really asked, and I don't know, it's not like my questions for them are super, like, in-depth or anything like that, but I don't talk to anyone about the process apart from my friends who are on the same path as me, and then I spoke to my pre-med advisor once, which she was very helpful, but we don't really have that, it's not really that type of relationship where she's never gone to, I'm assuming she's never gone to med school, she just is help advising people on how to get in and
What are your
like the right
questions?
steps. I think that my main questions right now are regarding like advice when it comes to one, taking the MCAT because I don't know when to take it. I don't like it's like kind of something that I feel like I need to decide on my own, but it would probably be helpful to get other people's input on it and, like, what worked for them, because everyone has to take it, like, it hasn't changed. This is, like, the same thing that everyone else has had to take, same test. And then my gap year, because
What about your gap year?
what they did, what they regret doing, what they wish they could have done better or done at all. I don't want to go into it because I know I want to do it, but I don't know exactly what, and I don't really want to enter that gap year not knowing what to do because then I'll be too late. And like
Mhm.
honestly, it's approaching soon, not really, but it is. And so I feel like if I have an idea right now, then maybe one, it might help me decide what I want to do for my second co-op, and then two, I'm just getting ahead of it. In the same way that maybe people are trying to prepare for how to apply to med school, I need to be thinking like 2 steps ahead.
Yeah. I've never been an official advisor for someone to applying to PT school, but
Mm,
I've talked to so many high school and college and post-college students that come to me and they don't actually always ask me for advice on applying, but I do end up giving them advice and they get in. I think
mm,
I can help in that way for a PT
mhm,
school. But I would say that it's a good question to ask. Do you have any advice about the application process? Because I definitely have an answer for that. And then I'll say, I think a good question I answer is, do you have any advice? And I think you're asking this already of for experiences that I should get before I go to medical school that you think would
mhm,
help me become a good doctor and help me become a good candidate, like an applicant. So not just a good applicant, but also a good doctor. And then I think some of the people that you're talking to probably know people who didn't get into medical school,
mm,
and they might be able to give you some insights on that, but that's just them guessing. People who had a hard time getting into medical school, did you see any patterns there? And because I can definitely answer that for PT school too. And then finally, I don't know if you have the same leeway for med school, but I can tell people what to look for when they're applying to PT school, not just rankings, but what else they might want to look for when they apply and choose a school. But maybe it's too early for that for you. Like, how do you pick which schools to apply to? And I say maybe you don't have as much leeway because medical school, maybe you just apply to a bunch of things and hope you get in. Yeah. I think
yeah. Those are definitely all things that have come up, but I don't know, I'm just looking for any guidance at all. I think that it's just me, once I start talking to people more about their experiences, then I'll have even more questions to ask afterwards. But everything that I
Oh,
know about med school and applying to med school and all of that is based off assumptions and social media.
that's a good place to start, actually, with your conversations with people. So this is why I'm talking to you, because everything I know is from assumptions and social media. But oh, I have another one. People ask me what do I like about being a physical therapist and what do I not like about it.
Yeah, all very good things to ask
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, actually those questions apply to any profession. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good rest of your weekend. I hope you have some good conversations this week with whoever you've gotten connected with. And keep watching The Pit because I want to talk about it with you after.
I'm so locked into Grey's Anatomy, I can't stop. So you might have to ask me in about 2 months.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye.